Doo-doo-dee. It's Nandi!
Hello friends, I'm back today with another video on Relics, the newest addition to Tacticus alongside the Mythic progression. I've been very kindly offered the opportunity to showcase this information early so that you're not overwhelmed with information when Mythic drops. Clearly things are still subject to change, but now with less than a week until Mythic releases, things should look closer to their final form. So in case you missed the interview I did with Snowprint about Mythic, Relics are a new item that Mythic characters can equip. These items give a character a unique ability or effect on the battlefield that gets stronger as you level the relic up. Relics are usable in any game mode that isn't capped, so in things like Tournament Arena and War, which have rarity caps, the relic effects are not in play. We start off with 16 relics, I'll talk about 15 here, and one will be given to a new character when the patch drops. Characters either get a unique relic or a shared relic, and the distinction is as implied by the name. The latter relics can be used by more than one character, usually with a theme that unifies them. From my interview with Snowprint, I believe the plan is to eventually give all characters, or at least more characters, a unique relic. As you'll see in this video, unique relics have comparably more powerful effects than shared relics, but it will take time for the designers to make those unique relics, and therefore shared relics are there to bridge the gap. Relics are expensive to upgrade with the costs highlighted here on screen. They use a new currency, Mythic Salvage, to upgrade, and this is the same currency and costs needed to upgrade a normal Mythic item. You can obtain Mythic Salvage by scrapping Mythic items, or you can buy it with Archaeotech. At time of recording, these are the characters currently in the game. 96 characters by my count, not including Machines of War. I've highlighted first the characters with a unique relic with a red border, and those with a shared relic with a white border. I'll take you through each relic in turn and explain how each works and analyze them. Before we do that, however, it's perhaps worth noting the way that items work has changed slightly. There is no mythic version of several items, notably things like the combat knife or things like pauldrons and mantle items are absent. Some factions like the Tau and Necrons get to keep their pauldron or mantle items, but effectively for the vast majority of characters we are down to just guns or armor items unless the unit has a special relic. Mythic items are also effectively soulbound, as they can only be replaced by a higher level item. That means that when you equip a mythic item, you are unable to send it to the scrap shop and get extra salvage. As you'll see on screen, the difference between a max level legendary item and a minimum level mythic gun is small. Therefore, I don't think you should equip mythic items without some forethought. You probably want to save them and get the mythic salvage for them in order to upgrade a few items or relics for key characters. In some cases, you may actually want a maxed legendary knife instead of a low-level mythic gun, and the costs to get legendary items have gone down, so it may actually be more of a reasonable strategy. Onto the relics. We'll start with the themed relics first and start with a powerful one, the Relic Power Fist. This relic gives the user's power damage attack a chance to stun and suppress enemies. The chance increases as you level the relic up, and the chances are doubled for active abilities. 3 characters can use it, but the main winner for this relic is Mataneo, who does power damage with his active. As you can see in this clip, with a maxed out relic, Mataneo can apply stun and suppression to the target of the active. Note that only the enemy who is dealt power damage gets the chance to be stunned and suppressed. The relic has no effect on the actives of Burchard and Barakiel, since neither does power damage, and for them it only affects their normal melee attack. We go from one of the best relics to one of the worst, just to show you the spectrum that we're working with. The Amulet of the Voidwyrm is a GSC relic that allows the relic bearer to take reduced critical hit damage for each adjacent summon or decoy. The GSC are already super weak, and the distinction for living or dying isn't being made by critical hits, so this effect seems like a little bit of a waste. The reduction of critical hit damage is a new feature to the game, and it's worth verbalizing that this reduction cannot be bigger than the critical damage itself, so under no circumstances will a crit result in less damage than a normal hit. Speaking of the Genestealer cults, the Patramine gets a new relic which is shared among a couple of his tyrant buddies. The Maw Claws' main appeal is actually the fact that it is a 35% crit chance weapon, a big upgrade on the previous 25% that these guys could use, while at the same time having the same damage profile as a gun. The relic itself gives the bearer bonus crit damage based on adjacent friendly summons, but I think the value in this relic is the extra crit chance. Let's jump to another crit based relic, the Kardiocore Galvanus. This is an AdMech themed relic grenade that gives the relic bearer bonus critical hit damage for each adjacent friendly mechanical unit. You'll note that this is usable for both Tangita and Exeter Row, mainstays of the meta and mech team. This is potentially a huge effect, especially with the amount of out of turn damage that Exeter Row does, and this will really incentivize team positioning properly. I've spent a bit more time crunching the numbers here since this is likely to be a popular investment choice for Mythic Salvage. Normally, crit boosters give quite poor return on investment compared to investing in the main crit item. As you can see in this table, if you can get 3 adjacent mechs, then the crit bonus from the Galvanus is better than investing in a mythic gun. The next relic also has a mechanical flavor. It gives the 3 non-mechanical orcs the ability to be repaired as well as healed, but it doesn't quite turn them into mechs. It's more a roundabout way of making Gibba able to heal the whole faction. Here we see another relic with the ability to take reduced crit damage, this time for each adjacent enemy unit. The Necron relic is another example of a defensive grenade. The Nether-Realm's Casket lets the relic bearer take less crit damage for each adjacent friendly mechanical unit and allows the bearer to regenerate bonus health from living metal. This is another relic on the weaker side, and I would skip investing in this one at least until the Necrons get a rework and are made more useful. The Talisman of Rage is one of the cooler relics. It essentially stacks the Blessings of Khorne faction trait twice as quickly for kills made by the bearer, and also lets them take reduced crit damage for each stack of Blessings of Khorne. This does not let you go past 8 stacks of the blessings, and it has no effect on the stacks gained by defeats from other units. I think this relic is going to be best for Tarvak, who can already build lots of stacks quite quickly with his active ability. It has potential for Ascor, but I'm less enthused for Macer, who simply isn't survivable enough. The next shared relic belongs to the Death Guard. The Orb of Decay gives the relic bearer additional toxic damage to enemies that have their armor reduced by 30% or more. Enemies that are adjacent to the primary target are also hit if their armor is sufficiently reduced. That means you'll need to apply more than just the Contagions of Nurgle trait from a single Death Guard. 2 of them will do. You could also consider using the Contamination Hex effect from the weapon itself, or from the Death Guard Machine of War, for example. The next shared relic also belongs to the Chaos, but splits itself between the Thousand Suns and Black Legion. It's fairly straightforward. When the relic bearer makes a normal attack, a friendly adjacent summon performs a normal attack against an enemy within range. As you can see in the clip, it does not have to be the same target. There is a damage bonus for Daemons, which is nice and clean for Abraxas and Archmatos, but generally isn't going to apply for Thamacus. There are quite a few Imperial units that can use the Bolt Pistol. It provides bonus pierce ratio for melee attacks and bonus crit damage for ranged attacks. These bonuses are doubled against Xenos and Chaos enemies, which is a nice bit of flavor for Imperial units. The Relic Bolt Pistol doesn't stand out as particularly powerful, but it's a reasonable upgrade and pure upside over a normal Mythic Bolter, so I'm not displeased. The last shared relic is the Relic of Lost Cadia, wielded by some of the Astra Militarum. It gives friendly surrounding Imperial summons Final Vengeance, and when the relic bearer is defeated, a guardsman is summoned in its hex. It's a bit odd to give this relic to Astra Militarum characters that can't actually summon themselves, so you have to jump through some hoops to make it worthwhile. Still, it's fun and flavorful and fits with the Cadian theme. Thanks for bearing with me. I have 4 more unique relics to show and discuss with you. The first is straightforward. The Phoenix Gem lets Aethana come back to life via the revive mechanic the first time she dies every battle, even if overkilled. There's nothing too flashy, but it's a powerful effect to have, especially for a squishy character like Aethana. The Tau have a unique relic too. Rivas gets a burst cannon that can give her bonus pierce ratio every time she attacks. Once she hits a critical number of attacks, this resets her active ability. I'm actually pretty high on this relic, but mainly for modes like survival and legendary release events. You can set up Rivas's active and kill several enemies. With the right setup, you can use Rivas's active every other turn, which can make your life a lot easier in horde modes. If you were to use a character like Actus, you could trigger Rivas to attack again, and potentially even overwatch every single turn. The Ardent Blade belongs to Celestine. The first time each battle that Celestine defeats an enemy unit, she resurrects one of her Geminae in a free adjacent hex. If that can't happen for whatever reason, she triggers a Geminae within 3 hexes to attack again. If you kill an enemy unit and are unable to meet either of those conditions, i.e. no dead Geminae and no Geminae nearby, then nothing happens and you don't lose the trigger. The final relic is Mephiston's Vitarus. The hexes of each enemy hit by Mephiston's normal melee attack or passive are set on fire. If these attacks hit an enemy that is already on a fire hex, they deal bonus damage and extinguish the fire. Again, another flavorful and iconic weapon translated from the Warhammer universe. This has additional considerations when playing in the Psyker team or with Ahriman, where you want to be careful not to extinguish the fire before you attack with the rest of your Psykers. Okay, that was a longer one, and obviously things are still subject to change, but I wanted you guys to have some insight into relics before you started looking at the Mythic patch and getting overwhelmed. Thanks as always to my Patreons for their support, and bye for now.